As we ventured deeper, we stumbled upon a hidden chamber filled with treasure. I quickly said to myself, half of this treasure will be mine. But suddenly, to our surprise, Mr. Johnson appeared, saying, "Ha ha ha, not so fast, Alex. You and I need to solve one more riddle." You're welcome to English with RMG, where you learn English grammar, pronunciation tips, and vocabulary to improve your fluency skills. In today's class, you are going to learn how to use the personal pronouns I, me, mine, and myself. This lesson is going to be in 4 parts. In the first part, we are going to learn how these pronouns are commonly used so that we can differentiate between the correct common expression and the incorrect common expression. 2, I'm going to explain the grammatical rules behind the usage of these pronouns so that you can understand how to use them better in your day-to-day expressions. 3, we are going to move on to the exciting part, which is the practice story, for you to better learn how these pronouns are used in context. And lastly, we are going to look at a few quiz where you are going to test if you've really understood the usage of these pronouns. So, are you ready? Let's begin with how these pronouns are used. First, we have me and Kate went to the market. This expression is wrong because me is not supposed to be at the beginning of a sentence. Another example, we have Aisha and me swept the floor. This is another wrong usage of me because me is also not supposed to be in the subject position. I'm going to explain these in detail when we move on to the next part where I'm going to give you the grammatical explanation. But for now, note that me should never be used before the main verb in a sentence. 3. I and my husband went on a vacation. This is also an incorrect structure because when we have 2 or more subjects, I should be the closest to the verb. Another example, some people say, myself and Mr. Smart did the job. That is, they begin a sentence with myself. This is also absolutely incorrect, and I'm going to explain better when we move on to the next part. Another example, you, Mariam, and me will be traveling together. This is also using me before the main verb and incorrect arrangement of multiple subjects. I'm going to explain in detail in the next part. So, another example, we have Mariam, you and I will be traveling together. So, this is an example of a correct structure. We could also have Smart and I studied together. This is also correct because I is the closest to the verb when we have more than one subject. So let's move on to the next part of this video, which is the grammatical explanation of the usage of I, me, mine, and myself. So let's begin with I and me. I and me are both used to refer to oneself when you are speaking. However, there is a slight difference between the two. 2 questions can guide you to using each of it correctly. These questions are when and where. That is, when should I use I and when should I use me? And where should I place I and where should I place me in my sentence? So let me explain that better. Let's start with I. So use I when you are referring to yourself as the performer of the action in the sentence. For example, I am recording this video now. Now let's look at the next question, which is where. Where do we place I in our sentence? You should place I before the main verb in the subject position and last to the verb. What do I mean by that? I'm going to exemplify it in the examples. So stay tuned. Example 1. I am going to the store. So this is a simple sentence with only one subject. So I is going to be placed before the verb structure am going. So we are going to consider other examples with more than one subject so that you can understand the placement better. So example 2, we have my sister and I love reading books. So here we have I closest to the verb structure love reading. So it is incorrect to say I and my sister. Rather, you should say my sister and I. Always make sure that I is the closest to the verb. Do you understand? So let's consider our next example, which is example 3. We have Aisha, Akin, and I are going to school. So here we have 3 subjects, and we also made sure that I is the closest to the verb structure, which is her going. So any other structure aside from making sure that your I is the closest to the verb will be incorrect. I hope you understand where to place your I in the sentence now and when to use I before the verb and closest to the verb. Now let's move on to our next personal pronoun, which is me. We are also going to consider when and where to place me. So use me when you are referring to yourself as the receiver of the action in the sentence. Where should you place your me? You should always place me after the main verb in the object position. That is, you use I before the verb, but you use me after the verb when you are referring to yourself. Let's consider a few examples. Example 1. My sister made lunch for me. So you are referring to yourself after the verb made. So you are going to use me. It is incorrect to say, my sister made lunch for her. Rather, you should say, my sister made lunch for me. Example 2. Dad gave me the car keys. So because you are referring to yourself after the verb, so you are going to use me, not I. Do you understand? Example 3. The gift was given to my sister and me. So when you have more than one object as well, you should also use me. The gift was given to my sister and me. Do you understand? Now let's go back to our sentences and let's correct them. So instead of saying me and Kate went to the market, say Kate and I went to the market. Do not say Aisha and me swept the floor. Rather, say Aisha and I swept the floor. I hope you can now confidently correct sentences where I and me are wrongly used. Do not say, I and my husband went on a vacation. Rather, say, my husband and I went on a vacation. Do not say, you, Mariam, and me will be traveling together. Rather, say, Mariam, you, and I will be traveling together. Do you understand? Now let's move on to the next personal pronoun, which is myself. So, how do we use myself in a sentence? Myself is generally used to refer to oneself when you have acted upon yourself or you've done something by yourself. So there are 2 functions of myself in sentences, reflexive and emphasis. So for reflexive, you use myself when the subject and the object are the same. That is, when you act upon yourself. For example, I caught myself while shaving. So you should not say I caught me while shaving. No, you should say I caught myself. So for emphasis, you can use myself to stress that no one else but you performed or is going to perform a particular action. For example, I myself did the dishes. So myself here is only stressing that you and no one else did the dishes. Do you understand? So myself should never be used to begin a sentence. Let's consider a few examples. For reflexive, I made myself a cup of coffee. That is, you are trying to say that you acted upon yourself, you did something for yourself. You are both the performer and the receiver of the action. Example 2. I need to forgive myself for this mistake. Another example for reflexive. Example 3. I need to take care of myself when I'm sick. So here you're also saying that you need to act upon yourself. And you are still the performer and the receiver of the action. Now for emphasis. Example 1. I myself built the house. That is, you are stressing that no one else but you built the house. Example 2. I'll cook dinner myself. That is, you are stressing that no one else will help you in cooking the dinner. You are going to do it all by yourself. Example 3. I wrote the book myself. That is, you are stressing that no one helped you and nobody else wrote the book except you. Do you understand? So let's correct this sentence. Myself and Mr. Smart did the job. Incorrect. Mr. Smart and I did the job. Correct. Do you understand? Now let's look at the last personal pronoun, which is mine, before we move to our practice story. So when do we use mine? So mine is used to determine ownership or the possessor of something. Mine shows ownership or possession by indicating that something belongs to the speaker. So how does this happen? Let's consider a few examples. We have this white cup is mine. That is, instead of saying it is my own, you could simply say this white cup is mine. Do you understand? Example 2. Those shoes are mine. So mine is used to show ownership. When something belongs to you, simply say it is mine. That book is one of mine. That is, when it's more than one or one out of everything that belongs to you, you could also say it is one of mine. Now let's move on to an exciting part of this lesson, which is the practice story. The title of our story for today is The Mysterious Treasure Hunt. Are you ready for this exciting story? Let's begin. My friend Alex and I were invited to a mysterious treasure hunt by our neighbor. He gave us an ancient map and he said, "Solve the clues and whatever treasure you found shall be yours." As we embark on the journey, I said to myself, this could be the adventure of a lifetime. Alex exclaimed, "It is going to be a challenge for you and me." We continued on our journey. We traveled through dense forest and crossed scorching deserts, facing many challenges along the way. Eventually, our first clue led us to a dark cave. Suddenly, I heard a strange noise, so I shouted, "Alex, come quickly. It's just you and me here." So he came closer, and we continued our adventure. As we ventured deeper, we stumbled upon a hidden chamber filled with treasure. I quickly said to myself, half of this treasure will be mine. But suddenly, to our surprise, Mr. Johnson appeared, saying, "Haha, not so fast, Alex. You and I need to solve one more puzzle." "What? What riddle is that?" I asked in dismay. Mr. Johnson said, "What is it that can be measured but cannot be seen or touched?" After much deliberation between Alex and me, we agreed that the answer must be time. We told Mr. Johnson time is our final answer. He said, "Congratulations to you too. Now the treasure belongs to you." We felt joyful. Alex turned to me and said, "Now the treasure belongs to you and me." It was indeed an amazing adventure, and we went back home together. This is the end of this story. I hope you enjoyed this short story, and I hope you paid attention to all the personal pronouns that was used in the story. Now, let's move on to the last part of this lesson, which is the quiz. Are you ready for the quiz? Let's begin. Question 1. Dash went to the party together. A. Myself and my friend. B. I and my friend. C. My friend and I. D. My friend and myself. 5 seconds to pick your answer. What did you choose? The answer is C. My friend and I. That is, my friend and I went to the party together. Quiz number 2. The gift is dash. A. Mine. B. Me. C. I. D. Myself. 5 seconds to pick your answer. What did you choose? The answer is A. Mine. That is, the gift is mine. We already said mine shows possession. Question 3. The teacher gave the homework to dash. A. I. B. Me. C. Mine. D. Myself. 5 seconds to pick your answer. What did you choose? The answer is B. Me. The teacher gave the homework to me because we are having me after the main verb in the sentence, which is gave. Question 4. Mom asked Dash to come to the kitchen. A. I. B. Mine. C. Me. D. Myself. 5 seconds to pick your answer. What did you choose? The answer is me. Mom asked me to come to the kitchen. Asked is the main verb and you are referring to yourself after the verb. So you use what? Me. Question 5. My friend, my brother, and Dash are going to the park. A. Me. B. Mine. C. Myself. D. I. 5 seconds to pick your answer. What did you choose? The answer is D. I. My friend, my brother, and I are going to the park. We already said I should be used before the verb. Question 6, which is going to be our last question. Dash and my brother are traveling tomorrow. A. I. B. Myself. C. Me. And D. My mom. 5 seconds to pick your answer. What did you choose? I know this is a bit tricky. What did you choose? The answer is D. My mom. Yes, you cannot say I am my brother. We already say I should be the closest to the verb. The same thing for myself and me. You cannot use them in the subject position before the verb. So the only correct answer here is what? My mom. So the sentence will read, my mom and my brother are traveling tomorrow. Thank you for joining this lesson. This is English with RMG. For more context on grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, and fluency tips, kindly subscribe, like, and please drop a comment. Let me know if you enjoy this lesson. Or if you have any question, put it in the comments. I will be glad to answer because I really care about your English fluency journey. Thank you. Bye for now.